Hey everybody, it's Hawk here, and I've got a deck profile for you today. So let's just jump right into this. So, first things first, you'll be running two Gearfried the Gearfried the Swordmaster, because this is a Gearfried the Swordmaster deck, obviously by the title. Now, of course, that means you need 3 Gearfried the Iron Knight, because you can't summon Gearfried the Swordmaster without the Iron Knight. Now, why am I only running 2 of these? It gets bricky. He just takes up too much room if there's 3 of them. Yes, I'm still running 3 Release Restraints, and I might as well just skip to that now. Triple Release Restraint, obviously. Now again, it's a little weird that you're not getting 3 then. Well, it'll make a little more sense, because you kind of run out of room. Now, again, surprising no one. Triple Command Knight. We're running warriors, so of course, why wouldn't you? Now, this part may surprise you, or may not, but Triple Blade Knight. Why Triple Blade Knight? Well, the reason for that is simple. Blade Knight is amazing. He's frankly just an amazing warrior, goes well with Command Knight, and honestly, he helps continue Gearfried the Swordmaster's particular control ability. Because Gearfried the Swordmaster deck is a combination OTK control deck. You can kind of do either one depending on the situation you find yourself in. Because, slap an equip card onto Gearfried the Swordmaster, he blows up an opponent's monster, which is awesome. What does Blade Knight do? He stalls. He either stalls or helps keeping some control going for you. He does an excellent work. Or he just turns into a big beat stick, which is also helpful because it helps secure your OTK. Because Gearfried will be punching things. Why? Because you'll be equipping him with 2 of these. Yes, those are 2 Wicked Breaking Flamber's Bows. Holy crap, does this sword just save your rear end. Because it negates the effects of cards it destroys. So, no Apprentice Magician. No Yomi Ship. This does actually stop the effects of flip cards. So no Man-Eater Bug and no Magical Undertaker. Blast Sphere is still going to go off because you don't actually blow it up, so that's a bit of a problem. However, you get to blow up another card because it got equipped to him, which is quite nice. Now, why am I only 2 of these? Because third one is Grarl. Why Grarl? Because sometimes you don't have the discard fodder, and this is why having 3 Release Restraints actually isn't a problem. Because that extra one you have, you can just chuck. It's quite nice. Grarl's there just to make sure you have something you can throw on him at a moment's notice. Feel free to substitute that out for a different equip card if you want. Fighting Spirit's not a terrible choice. It's not the best choice in my opinion, but it's not a terrible choice. I don't mind the card. I like it. It's just I very rarely lose him to getting beaten over by something. But Grarl's quite nice because you just slap it down and haha, they can't do anything. But again, if you want to swap that out for a 3rd bow, feel free. 3 bows is not a bad thing. Now we get to the traps. 2 Kunai with Chain, to the shock of no one. Why not 3? Well, because the 3rd slot is taken up by Metalmorph. Yes, I run 1 Metalmorph in this deck. Only 1. I tried with 2 and it got a little bricky. Just got weird. Now, you're probably noticing, sitting over here quietly, is Destiny Draw. Destiny Draw, I can't describe how often that particular skill saved my rear end with this deck. It was great. I used it. Something gets bad, I lose my first Gearfried the Swordmaster, everything goes badly. I'm sitting with either a Release Restraint or a Gearfried the Iron Warrior in my hand, and I'm like, come on, give me something. Bam! Drop him out. Draw might have I might have Grarl sitting in my hand or something, or I've got Metalmorph sitting on the field, or a Kunai, and I could just go. Because he's really, really good at punching through stuff. Now, let me get a little into the side deck here before I talk about what this is particularly good against. Now, my side deck, by the way here, first card in the side deck is Hidden Parasite. And lighting is terrible, so I'm just going to hold it. Alright, now why am I not running Hidden Parasite instead of Destiny Draw? Frankly, I only got 1 copy of Eradicating Aerosols in a fine, but you'd run 2 in the side deck. The reason I am is because I don't have room. I tech this in, and it has actually been quite good teching this in. I've thoroughly enjoyed that. The issue that comes up here is, what do you remove? What do you remove to put into Eradicating Aerosols? Do you drop a Blade Knight? Do you drop a Blade Knight and Release Restraint? Do you drop one of your equip cards? Those are kind of necessary. Do you drop your Metal Morph? What do you drop? It's there for when you really need to punch through something. And frankly, I don't think this deck lacks enough destruction that this is entirely necessary. There's situations where it is. It's why it's in here. So that takes up 3 slots, because I remember I don't actually have my other copy. But you have 2 Dust Tornadoes in here. If you would like 2 Dice Foons instead, you could use Dice Foon. I prefer the consistency that Dust Tornado provides. This is very nice. Again, I'm not running... There's no Windstorm in this. I'm not running any defense because I'm going balls to the wall. This deck is all about just gunning for it. And in that vein, Jar of Avarice. I tested out a single Jar of Avarice, and it actually worked quite well, because then you can kind of chuck whatever you want, because you just set the 1 Jar of Avarice, and pull a bunch of cards back in. You can get yourself some equip cards back, you can get yourself a Gearfried the Swordmaster back, you get some traps back if you need them. If you used a kunai earlier, it's nice. It's not necessary in every play, which is clearly why it's there. I generally swapped it out for Metal Morph when I wanted a slightly more, I guess, attrition-based style. Now, what does this have a good matchup against? Stall, hilariously. This deck is actually quite good at Stall. It stops most of their effects from going off, Blastsphere being the only one it doesn't, and honestly, that's fine. Blastsphere is the singular weakness you have, and you have other ways to get around it. Because it's still... The monster's off the field, so you can really plow through with your Blade Knight or your beefed up Gearfried, because Command Knight will probably be out. Basically, you can punch through with a great many things. You can also kind of stall yourself. If you can run just straight Blade Knight with Command Knight running around, you can kind of punch through even without Gearfried. You can get through without that. So, stall it's good against because Flamberge is great, and he's blowing stuff up before they get their effects off, which is fantastic. I fought the Daedalus quite a bit. That went very well, because I'm blowing up the face downs before they get a chance to start chucking stuff in the graveyard. That was good. King of the Skull Servants was a little weird. I had 2 matches, lost 1. I did win a game in there, but I did lose it overall. And then the other one, I lost again, but it was even closer, so I'm thinking it's entirely possible I was just doing some misplays. It might have a not great matchup, but honestly, every time I won, I was able to just blitz him early on before he could get a board set up. And the way you fight it is the same way you fight Stall. You have to just power through all of those defensive cards. And you can. This deck is actually reasonably consistent. It's not perfect consistency. You don't have any searchers, largely because you don't have room for Kotetsu, so you can't get your flip searching for equip cards. And honestly, you don't need to. I've never had a problem not drawing an equipable card. That's because everything that's not Release Restraint in here is an equipable freaking card, so you're great. Now, sadly, I didn't get to play against Amazonas, or Gravekeepers for that matter, so I can't tell you how they match up. But honestly, Gravekeepers are going to be an issue just because Gravekeepers have just absurd staying power, and they'll be able to just not beat over you. They'll be able to beat past you, is what I mean. Amazonas... Honestly, Amazonas are an odd one. I'm not entirely sure how that would work. If you run into a lot of Amazonas in your meta, you may want to run... you may honestly just drop Hidden Parasite, take out Eradicating Aerosol from your side deck, and toss in some Warrior Eradication. What would you put in your final slot? Might take out Jar of Avarice and run double Windstorm if you want to go a little more defensive. That's an option. Don't think it's necessary. You might run another Kunai then. Swap out some Kunais there. If you want to go in a pure defensive manner, you can drop Grarl and add another Kunai because you're still getting enough equipped spells. How does this deck play, though? I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun playing this deck. I think there's a spot in the meta for Gearfried Knights. I mean, let's be honest here. There is a Blade Knight control deck. This is almost Blade Knight control. Almost. It works under a similar concept. A similar, very basic strategy where you are just denying them their activations and then plowing over them. Now, the difference there is that Blade Knight control is much better in a long form. This one wants to win fast. I've pretty much every time I get past about turn 5, turn 6 maybe, that's counting both players' turns, I lose. this deck doesn't want to get into a long slog. You can do a long slog. It's kind of why I have Jar of Avarice in here. That's why this is in this deck. You can do a long slog. You are not great at a long slog. If you're doing the long slog, it's because you don't have Gearfried out yet. Once you get Gearfried out, once he hits the board, you go. This is actually why you don't want to go first. You want to go second. Because then your opponent has their board set up, and this isn't like some massive negate board or anything. You should be fine. You special summon him, slap an equip card on him, and go to town. And you want that extra draw. You need the extra draw because you need more cards in hand. So I put this as a rogue strat right now. Probably just sub tier 3. I would say good odds. I'd say this is probably going to be a decent deck. I think once we get better equip spells, because I love Wicked Blinking Flamboyant. The issue comes in is you don't have enough cards to be chucking stuff. If we get some draw power or a little bit of search power, you could run this deck and run 22 cards. Like if we get like some searching going on here, like actually could we even use Warrior Lady of the Wasteland? And you know, that gives us Command Knight. I'm gonna complain about getting a free summon of Command Knight. That'd be kind of nice. So, you know, get something like that, get some searching out, Marauding Captain or something. You know, get a little more oomph on your play. I doubt we're gonna get them for a very long time, if ever. But like I said, it's a good deck. It's a fun deck. It's also not cheap. I mean, this Metamorph is $10. Yeah, you can run this there. I just saved you $10. Don't put Metamorph in. Just put in a third kunai. The deck isn't cheap, which is something that kind of sucks because that's 6. This is like 12. It's an expensive deck to run, but I think it'll do good. I think it will serve you well. At the very least, it's going to be highly entertaining. It's a fun deck to play. So even when I lost, I had fun. Then again, I could sit there and say, I beat Stall, which is fantastic. So, hope you guys like the deck profile. Remember to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment below. Peace out, everybody.